Maybe you noticed a trend in gaming the last decade or so. Zombies. Zombies freaking everywhere. These days, or at least a few years ago, it seems like every IP gets its own zombie variation. From horde co-op shooters to slow-paced stealth action games, zombies are just in everything. We've been seeing zombies in video games for a very long time, but for a long time they were also presented as a simple low-level enemy, not as George A. Romero-inspired nightmares. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and click on the links in the description to vote on upcoming content. Arguably, it was games like Infogram's 1992 Lovecraftian horror Alone in the Dark, and of course Capcom's 1996 prototypical survival horror game Resident Evil that kept video game zombies firmly planted in their roots. Indeed, the original Resident Evil, and several of its sequels, were hot contenders for the great honor of greatest zombie game of all time. But with clunky controls and a strong emphasis on puzzle solving, we decided to go in a different direction.
Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this.
Perhaps what makes zombies such a great enemy is that we don't really feel bad for killing them. It's the same way that monsters, aliens, and Nazis work in video games. Developers are often faced with a bit of a dilemma, you see. Will players feel uncomfortable murdering dozens or even hundreds of things in their game, especially when those things turn out to be people? Zombies, on the other hand, have no real intelligence and with that, no sense of self-preservation. These reanimated monsters aren't expected to take cover, hide, or keep themselves alive. Hardly anyone feels bad about killing zombies. Heck, they were dead already, so like Nazis, demons, or aliens, many players just don't mind putting a couple of pounds of lead into them. In fact, it feels good. It feels kind of righteous sometimes. Therefore, we decided to award the greatest zombie game of all time to Valve's 2008 co-op shooter Left 4 Dead, and by extension its 2009 sequel.
Avoid all contact with infected individuals. Wait for official instructions. Wait my ass.
Things that make zombies stand out from other enemy archetypes is that they are a perversion of ourselves. They were human, but now they act as a kind of basic impulse that can be very disturbing to us. In that way, they represent us, but without society and without thought. We can mentally distance ourselves from a monster because we see it as something totally different. Even a horrendously cartoonish Nazi's ideology is so horrible that we have no trouble separating our humanity from theirs. But in the case of zombies, if we're not careful, we can become just like them. It only takes one bite.
I'm not infected.
No? Was this lying?
I can explain.
You better explain fast.
The Left 4 Dead series brought some new ideas, not only to the zombie video game genre, but to gaming as a whole. The premise is very simple, like all great things, right? The player and 3 other survivors, either AI or players via multiplayer, must get from one side of the map to the other. It's the details and execution that make this Valve series shine, though.
Looks like there's been a change of plans.
The atmosphere of the series is basically off the charts. The developers did an amazing job with the visual and sound design. The levels are a mix of well-lit places and dark areas. This in turn creates a sense of uncertainty in the player. Additionally, adding layers of film grain to the graphics give the games an awesome retro feel. As a player, it feels like you're playing through a 70s pulp movie. The zombies themselves are also probably the best we've seen in a video game. While a few modern games have come close, and a few upcoming games may take video game zombies to the next level, at this moment, Left 4 Dead, a 10-year-old game, still probably has the best zombies in any video game. Here, it's the volume that's really important. Hordes of shambling masses fill your screen, all interacting with the environment, stumbling as they get blown apart by the player's weapons. In the sound department, let's not forget that iconic sound cue that happens just before a giant horde of undead are about to rush your face. And as for the sound effects on the specials, well, let's just say the cries of a little girl never terrified us more. Hearing that witch is always a spine-tingling experience.
Pass the bricks.
But it goes for more than atmosphere. The sound cues here are very important for keeping the play fun and not just random and frustrating. While every other aspect of the game focuses on classic, retro zombie pulp, the special infected, your tank, hunter, spitter, and so forth, elevate the gameplay in a way that regular zombies just can't. Furthermore, their presence doesn't distract from the core zombie action either. The specials complement the horde, and their presence kicks the tension up a notch. By also combining slow moments of sneaking around a witch with hectic moments of blasting through a horde of zombies, the game achieves some truly spectacular pacing too. And this is all done with the help of a groundbreaking AI system called the Director. The Director is a way for the game to adjust the difficulty and pacing of the game dynamically. If you're doing well in a level, then you can expect some more challenges up ahead. But if you're barely holding on by the skin of your teeth, then the Director might decide to give you a few more med packs. This also keeps each map from becoming predictable and boring. Following with the game's strong cinematic tone, the Director is exactly what it implies, an intelligence that keeps the experience authentic and, most importantly, unpredictable.
Everybody stop a sec. I gotta heal.
Of course, if we were talking about sheer horror, Left 4 Dead might not beat out games like Alien Isolation, let alone the best of the Resident Evil and Silent Hill franchises. But violence, excess, viscera, pulpy campiness, these are all fundamental aspects of zombie culture, and Left 4 Dead has all of this to spare, and executes it with care and finesse. Left 4 Dead is not only a brilliant game, but the best zombie video game ever made. The series continues to see its mechanics replicated in newer games, with its direct influence still being felt 10 years later. Now, if only Valve could count to 3.
I can't believe we made it!
Son, we just crossed the street. Let's not throw a party till we're out of the city.
Thanks for watching MojoPlays. Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.